Welcome everyone to Growing a Successful Newsletter with Elizabeth, who is going to be showing us how to learn the secrets behind growing a newsletter full of engaged subscribers. My name is Paola Mendez, and I am the founder of the Blogger Union. For those of you who are not familiar with the Blogger Union is a network of blogger communities across the US dedicated to growing our members' brands and incomes through meetups and workshops just like this one. But we also have physical communities in the cities across the US. So we have the South Florida bloggers here in the Miami area. We have the DC bloggers that Carly runs in the DC area, the New York City bloggers, Houston bloggers, and a bunch others. So if you'd like to know more about that, go check out thebloggerunion.com. And my personal blog is Coral Gables Love. If you'd like to go check that out, follow me. I will follow everyone back who's joining me during the next hour. Helping us today is Carly. She is the chapter officer of the DC bloggers. You can follow her at the Carly Chic. And she's going to be helping us in the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to add your questions to the chat and we will get through all the questions after Elizabeth is done with her presentation. And let me introduce you to our speaker today. Elizabeth runs a newsletter called Moxie and Gumption, and she's been growing it. She knows it's successful. She knows how to monetize it, and she's going to share all the secrets behind her newsletter with us. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now.
Okay, take it from here.
Thank you so much for everyone who is joining here tonight. I was so enthusiastically screaming yes in my head when Carly asked if I'd be interested in giving this webinar tonight. I am really passionate about email marketing and email lists, especially seeing how it has impacted my life just this year. As noted, I am the creator of the Gumption Edition, which is my email list. So just a little hint at what's to come. I rarely refer to my email list as an email list. I always refer to it as the Gumption Edition for branding reasons, and we will get into that later. But other than that, I am an entrepreneur. I helped found a multi-million-dollar fashion brand that empowers women out of poverty around the world. And we are actually celebrating 10 years in business today. So it's already been a really eventful day in my house, because everyone's working from home, in my house today. So this is an added fun way to celebrate with you. So we've been in business for 10 years. I've been a blogger for over 10 years. I was a 11-year-old who was lonely, had just moved to a new city, didn't have any friends at 12, and I started a blog to make me feel like I had more friends and was talking to people. And I still have one today, obviously, that has grown and evolved as I have grown and evolved, but definitely a heavy background in blogging with a physical digital blog. I'm also a media trained public speaker who loves to teach other ambitious women to be confident in their careers through public speaking, from stages, panels, and on podcasts. And of course, as we are all separated virtually on webinars. So I'm very excited to be here tonight because sharing what I've learned along the way is one of my many passions. So if I don't get to connect with you here tonight, please connect with me on Instagram. My handle is here below. I know I have a crazy last name, so just, spell check, just take note. But I really would love to connect with you. I reply to every single DM, and I love just giving knowledge away like I am tonight. But I am here tonight because of the Gumption Edition. Now, the Gumption Edition is a lifestyle magazine that you can subscribe to for free to receive weekly inspiration to create the life of your dreams. Now, what you just heard is my pitch for the Gumption Edition, my email list. That was the pitch for my email list. That's how I describe it every single time. It's extremely strategic, and a little bit later tonight, we are going to unpack that pitch together so you can create your own invitation for people to join your email lists. Today, the Gumption Edition has a approximately 1,000 subscribers since its launched 3.5 months ago. And it's always steadily climbing in its subscriber number. And it's full of people who are eager to open, which we love, open, read, engage, and share each and every issue. During our time together, I'm going to share why I started the Gumption Edition and why I was interested in email marketing for my personal brand, how I market the Gumption Edition, and then everything that I include inside each issue to ensure its success and a steady climb in subscribers. I just want to call it out here right now. I have notes and I need notes because if I don't look at notes, I'm going to keep you until 10 p.m. And as passionate as we are about our blogs, no one actually wants that. So excuse me, I'm going to look away, but I have to follow these notes so that I can better present to you all of this information that I am so excited to share. So why I started the Gumption Edition. In May of this year, I finished my master's degree. I received it during quarantine. I was a quarantine graduate in my sweatpants. I finished my last class in my graduate program, had my degree sent to me, I think. I don't know where it is. But then all of a sudden, I had so much more time. My days completely opened up. Going to grad school while working over full-time is no small feat. And I thought I was going to take some time to enjoy my lighter schedule, maybe watch some more Netflix, hang out with friends more. Maybe I actually got a puzzle. I thought I would puzzle. I was very excited about that. I never finished that puzzle. And unfortunately, relaxing and taking time off and allowing room to breathe is just not how my mind works. So immediately, the same week I graduated with my master's degree, I needed a new project. And so during this time, all happening at the same time, I felt that a lot of statistics about email marketing were somehow finding their way onto my Instagram feed. And I felt like I just couldn't escape it. Like there was just statistics about engagement and open rate and email marketing. And I couldn't get away. It had my attention. And honestly, it probably got to the point where it was just top of mind. So I was attracted to that kind of information more, but something inside of me was resonating with this idea. I attended a ton of online free webinars, just as you are tonight, listened to a lot of passionate bloggers and entrepreneurs share why this was a good idea for me and for my brand. And then I realized that everything they were saying about engagement rates, to contacts list, to sales was applicable to my online brand as well. This is what I meant to have up while I was doing my whole introduction. This are some screenshots of the Gumption Edition of my email list. But we'll get back to that. But let's jump to part one of why your online brand, whether it's a business or a blog, deserves an email list. Let's talk about engagement. So on average, engagement rate of social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram users, is about 10%. So 10% of your following is engaging with your posts, your stories, etc. But my emails have a 40% open rate, 40%. And this is on like the months that are going really well, but it is still extremely higher than that 10% because of that algorithm. Studies have actually even shown that people are less resistant to being sold to when they are in their email. And this can be for a myriad of reasons. It can become because they just expect to be sold to on email, because they go to email not to take a break as one does for social media. People just want to mindlessly scroll. But when people jump into their email, they're not in that mindset. Or maybe it's because items in their email are just more personalized to them. They have opted into what kind of emails they want to read. And so they're okay if that blogger that they love tries to give them an offer because they've already bought into this idea. Another reason why email marketing is perfect for you and your brand is something that we hear all the time, I feel like, in the blogging world these days, is what happens if Instagram goes down tomorrow? We all remember that scary day when Instagram just didn't work and no one had access to it. Where would your business live if Facebook just went away, took Instagram with it? How would you be able to connect with your dedicated readers, followers, and customers? People who are still interested in you and what you have to offer. They just don't have the social media platform anymore to connect with you. So I don't own Instagram, but I do own this CSV file that has all of my email subscribers listed on it. My stream of income is now completely in my control and not at the mercy of a social media algorithm, which is designed to make the platform money and not me money. But I'm worried about making me money, so I'm gonna figure out a way around that. Last month, I actually ran a discount code promotion in my online shop. So I made a coupon code for the people on Instagram, and then I made a coupon code for the people on my email list. And let me tell you guys, the number of people who made purchases through my email list was 10 times the number than people who made purchases from my Instagram. 10 times. I thought my Instagram following was dedicated. I thought they saw my posts. I thought they were loyal, but I'm like, oh my goodness, the email subscribers are so much more on fire for what I have to offer. Now, not only are eyes getting onto my offers and my content as a blogger, but I have all of my people's info and I can connect with them anytime, no matter where social media goes, and I can connect with them in a more intimate setting. Now, as I said, I am a blogger. I have a blog. And if I'm being honest, people don't go to my blog, elizabethheischkens.com, nearly as much as they used to. And this is normal. Times change, platforms change, users change. I'm a micro influencer, so I don't have that swipe up on my stories yet. So I can't swipe up to my newest blog post. And honestly, people just don't go to bio links. Like, not as enthusiastically as you and I and all of us on here probably want them to. They just don't. So I decided that I needed to pivot to distribute my content, the same kind of content I would put in blog posts. I needed to distribute it a different way. I need to show up where people already are instead of asking them to go to my blog. And that's exactly what I've done. I've put the same kind of content into these emails that I send out once a week, and the engagement has been amazing. I used to think I was annoying people when I would create a new blog post and I would say on Instagram, hey, I have a new blog post, link in bio. I thought I was totally annoying people. And I thought, wow, no one cares about my long form informational blog posts anymore. But now that I'm putting them in emails, people are thanking me on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for this information. And I'm like, I had all of this on the blog before. Where are you guys at? What are you guys doing? And now they are finally seeing that content. And not only so, but my email list are raving fans who actually want to consume what I create with my brand. My following on Instagram is vulnerable to things like bots or other accounts who just don't see my content because of the algorithm. But my list is solely from people who want to hear from me. And honestly, that feels really good. It's refreshing, as I'm sure we have all struggled with social media and feeling like, is anyone even seeing this post? Why did that post only get 120 likes when I thought it was definitely like a 700 type like post? I really poured my heart and my soul into that. And then it's kind of vulnerable to not get the kind of reaction that you're expecting. So it feels just so good knowing that the people who are receiving my emails are thanking me, they are raving over it, and they are meeting it with the same enthusiastic response that I honestly kind of want them to have. This would be the slide for that. See, y'all, I get so caught up. I need the notes because I'm too fired up about this. Okay, actually, we are going to stop sharing. We're going to get to that in a moment. I just need, honestly, we just have to, you and me, we just are going to chat here for a minute because I just get too excited for slides sometimes. So let me chat really quickly. Let's go into marketing. So how did I grow and market this email list so people actually join it? The first thing that I did, I went to Pinterest and I created a Pinterest board of exactly how I want the email to look and to feel. I wanted the visuals of that Pinterest to set the tone and the voice. Maybe I used quotes and I put it all onto a Pinterest board. I wanted the Pinterest board to reflect the kind of energy that I want people to feel when they open every single issue. And I'm really strict on protecting this feel, this brand in every single email. I'm really strict with even myself. Like, it's very easy for me to kind of I create one every week. So it's kind of easy to get kind of lazy and be like, oh, I'm just going to throw it together. It's going to be fine. But then the other part of me is like, no, like they expect a certain level of design. They expect a certain level of aesthetics. And I'm going to keep that every single time. But creating that Pinterest board was the first step, because now I know exactly what kind of images to put in. I know exactly what kind of terminology to use, because I have quotes and graphics and photos on this Pinterest board. I know it sounds like a really just superfluous step, but it's a foundational step. And I go back to it. I look at that Pinterest board every single time I create a new issue. That is the first part of marketing it. The second step that I did to market the Gumption Edition was I created a trailer, like a video trailer, like a commercial for my email list. I made, just in iMovie, you guys, I made a 60-second small video that was all just, as a blogger, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, you just have tons of clips that are on your phone, tons of clips of just random stuff you're doing, moments you wanted to document, maybe you just talking into the camera. Does anyone else, when you're filming an Instagram story, save it to your camera roll just in case you like lose it or something because you know you can't film it again? Well, that means I have tons of random videos all up in my camera roll, and I just compiled them. I set it to some trendy music. I made it really fast paced. And then about halfway through, that is when I just, on the screen, I shared the categories and the topics that I talk about in the Gumption Edition. And at the end, it just says the Gumption Edition and my beautiful logo. And then in the caption, that's where I always put my pitch, which we're going to get to very shortly. My pitch, my invitation for them to subscribe with a little link to subscribe or pointing them to my bio. And it, again, is built off of that Pinterest board, that look, that feel, that energy. And honestly, you guys, maybe people have done this before. I've never seen a trailer commercial type thing for an email list before. I'm sure it's out there. I'm not saying I invented it. I'm just saying I don't see it. I've never seen it before. And maybe it's just, maybe I don't follow enough people with Instagram or email lists. But it was really, really fun to make. And I'm not gonna lie to you, people love it. People just love that video. Even people who I know have subscribed to the Gumption Edition for a long time, they just, every time I post it to invite more subscribers, they go, oh my gosh, I love that video. I could watch it over and over and over again. If you're interested in watching my trailer to see how you can create one of your own, please do. Also, please just take every single idea that I share, copy it, do exactly what it is. There is room for all of us to have like thriving email lists and like thriving marketing for our email lists on the internet. So please do. If you want to watch my trailer for the Gumption Edition, it's very easy. Go to my Instagram account and I have a highlight titled GE, and like the video for the video is right at the beginning of the highlight. So you don't even have to go through and like watch the whole highlights right at the beginning. And it is always right there in my highlights. Please watch it. And I really encourage you to make your own. It was fun to watch or fun to create, and people love just watching it. Okay. Now the third really important part to marketing, at least the Gumption Edition. This is what has worked for me based off of my style, my brands, my aesthetic, and the way I communicate. Let's go back to the slides really quick. I'm gonna go back now. Sometimes I need the structure, sometimes I have to let it go, and then sometimes I have to have it back. Okay, so I have a specific vocabulary that I use when talking about the Gumption Edition all the time. And just like I said, I'm really protective of the aesthetic and the tone and the visuals of the Gumption Edition. I'm really protective over how I talk about it. And here's why. People have an association with email lists. People have a connotation with email lists. People associate it to that thing that I subscribed to for a little while, but then she kept on sending me annoying emails, and so I decided to unsubscribe. That is what a lot of people think of subconsciously. They wouldn't even tell you or me that. It's just something that they think of. And honestly, when you say, hey, I have an email list and you can subscribe, you are asking them to do something. You never word it that way, but at the end of the day, you are asking them not to make a purchase, not to post anything, but it is an ask for their email address. You are asking them for their information. And so my goal with the Gumption Edition was to make it seem like I had the juiciest, most valuable offer for them. They never ever felt like I was just wanted their information. Because honestly, that's not the case. I do want to give my email subscribers really valuable, enjoyable information every single week. That is the heartbeat of the Gumption Edition. However, people still, when you say email list, oh, join my email list, oh, my email subscribers, or blah, 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 people just have that association. And so I decided, before I even created the Gumption Edition, before I even knew what it was called, I had decided I will not publicly refer to this as my email list. And honestly, this is the only time I have ever in front of people confessed that the Gumption Edition is an email list. Obviously it is. Obviously it is, because Carly is a subscriber and she asked me to be on here because she knows that I know it's an email list. But I have never, ever, ever in a caption on Instagram, on a post on Instagram, on an Instagram story, I've never referred to it as an email list. I always call it the Gumption Edition, or I always call it a lifestyle magazine. It's not a printed, like, 60-page magazine. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. But that is what the style that I'm trying to embody through this weekly publication. And so, because going along with the magazine language, I decide I don't even call each one an email. So I don't even say, a new email went out today. I never, ever, ever say that. But I do always say a new issue of the Gumption Edition is in your inbox. Inbox is something I allow myself to say because I want them to know where to find it. But I don't even call them emails. Each one is an issue. And then subscribe is I still tell them to subscribe. I still call them subscribers because people can subscribe to Vogue. Basically, that was my benchmark. Can they do something like this to Vogue? Because that's the vibe I'm going for here. And I stick to this glossary of vocabulary so strictly. I had to break my rules for this webinar, and that's totally fine. I want to give you guys this information. And honestly, I've never heard anyone else teach this before, to have such specific language around what you call your email list, because that's the language that is going to either sell it for you or not sell it for you. And obviously we want the language to sell it for you. Let me see, okay, let's stay here for a second. So I was gonna put it on here and I neglected to do so, but let's talk again about the pitch that I say when I want to tell people that there is an opportunity to subscribe to the Gumption Edition. I'll do it slower than I did before. Every single time I talk about the Gumption Edition, I say the Gumption Edition is a lifestyle magazine that you can subscribe to for free to receive weekly inspiration and create the life of your dreams. Yes, obviously, when you subscribe to an email list, no one ever has to pay for it. That is obvious. And there are people who I know read my caption and they're like, of course it's free. But for me, the information that I give in my email list should not be free. The information I give away, people should pay for. And so that is why I always add for free, because that is how valuable it is to be on the Gumption Edition list. So again, I say the Gumption Edition, I don't say my email list, is a lifestyle magazine, I don't say my email list, that you can subscribe to, I do say subscribe, for free to receive weekly inspiration to create the life of your dreams. And then I'm setting the tone for what they can expect. So I say what it's called, I say what it is, how they can subscribe, and then set the expectation for the kind of content they're going to receive. The only time I say email is when I add, you can subscribe for free with your email in my bio link. Because again, they need to know, they're not going to go to my bio link if they think that they're going to have to pay $25 and put in their mailing address, because I do call it a lifestyle magazine. So the only time I say email is when I'm referring to what they have to do. So subscribe with your email in my bio link. So yeah, that's the third step. That's the biggest step, I think, because that has caused people to have enough curiosity and enough interest. And honestly, it's just a good first impression. It's a really good first impression of my email list. So instead of saying, here's my email list where I will occasionally sell to you and sometimes give you good tips, and you know, you might want to unsubscribe eventually, I refer to it as, it has a title, it has a name, it has a reputation that precedes it. It is like a lifestyle magazine. You can get it for free, even though you probably should have to pay money for it. It's actually for free, and it's going to help you create the life of your dreams. That is a good first impression. The fourth thing, I'm going to come out of here really quick. The fourth thing that I do to really market the Gumption Edition is remember that I am my email list's biggest, and honestly, my only advocate. No one else is advocating for my email list, only I am. And so that means I talk about it on Instagram a lot. I talk about it a lot. And honestly, I don't know if any bloggers are TikTokers on here. I'm obsessed with TikTok. I don't dance. Don't like start imagining me dancing to TikTok songs, but also like, you know, props to you if you are able to dance to TikTok songs. But I mentioned my email list on TikTok and I got 100 new subscribers in like 5 days. So it's popping over there on TikTok. Okay. So I talk about it on social media constantly because no one else is going to talk about my email list. I actually thought I was being annoying about it at first. I would talk about it multiple times a week when it first launched. And honestly, I should be talking about it more now, at least like 3 times a week. And I thought it was gonna be so annoying, but people really responded. And I think having the correct language and having the trailer video was really, really important to that effect, to create people, to help people create some urgency and expectancy and excitement. I thought it was annoying people, and people are really all about it. It's been such a huge honor and such a huge gift to just my self-esteem to have created this, because I thought it was going to be the biggest nuisance, and people are like, no, I love it. Like, give me more. And they are telling their friends about it. And like, we're reposting each other on Instagram, and it's honestly a giant love fest. Having this email list has created like a giant like love fest stream on Instagram, and it's the best. So speaking of being my email list only advocate, the very last tip that I would have for marketing an email list is to share the topic. I guess this only counts if it is a real weekly thing. So maybe this is something you would, if you send out an email more than once a week, maybe you would do this for just 1 email a week or something. But something that I have done and found success in is sharing what the topic of next week's email is going to be about. So the biggest jump in subscriber numbers within 7 days has been when I have decided a week ahead of time what the email is going to be, and then shared it on Instagram. I would create a quick little Instagram graphic about it, post about it, create some creativity, ask some questions on my Instagram story about this topic, gauge their interest and gauge where they are knowledge-wise on here. And then just say, I'm giving all of the details in this week's Gumption Edition. You can subscribe for free with your email address through my bio link. And that is how I've gotten the most amount of subscribers in 1 week, is by doing that. So that way you're not just asking them to join a mailing list where they don't really know what they're going to get, or maybe they'll know what kind of information they'll get, but they don't know if that's really going to apply to them. They don't know if all of them are going to apply to them. So giving them a topic and creating that curiosity and creating that connection, because maybe I have been really interested in starting an email list in the future, and you tell me that your email this week is about building a successful email list. Well, I was already thinking about that. I was already researching that. So of course I'm going to go subscribe. And then I fall in love with you and your brand and your blog. So I stay on that subscriber list. And that has been the experience. So that would be the last and final big marketing tip, is to decide ahead of time what your topic is going to be. Say that's what the topic is going to be in a few days, and then have just some lighthearted, interactive conversations about that topic on Instagram or wherever you do your blogging. But I feel like a lot of us use Instagram. Okay, I'm not going to go on all night. I promise. We are to the final section: what to include within your emails. We're going to share the screen again. Okay, so these are the core key ingredients that I always have in my email list. So my email list, I mean, this isn't the structure necessarily. I have a main feature article, and then I have some additional things under that article. Like I have my favorite playlist of the week. Sometimes I have a recipe in there, but honestly, I'm not the most like domestic, so I don't always have a recipe in there. And then I have the following section. So there's the bulk content, but then I know it's so important to have. Now I don't always have this one, but I should, you should, we should, as successful bloggers, say what's coming up in next week's email in the current email. So let's say you had an email all about fall fashion. Have a little graphic that says next week's email is going to be about pumpkin spice candles. I'm looking one, I'm burning one right now. It's a real moment here. I wish we were all together at the same table because it's a moment. So have a little graphic that says, hey, this is what next week's email is going to be about, because one, they probably won't unsubscribe because they're still going to be interested in that topic. And two, they are going to keep an eye out for next week's email. You've made a little mental flag in their mind. So if they don't see your email, if your email goes to spam, if your email gets lost next week amongst all their other work emails, or if they accidentally delete it, they'll think, hey, I didn't get that email that so-and-so was going to tell me I was going to get. And they are keeping an eye out. They know what to look for. That is so, so crucial. And honestly, I'm not the best at that. I was saying this last night, like I'm not the best at it, but I need to get better at it because this is key. It is crucial. I also have a section in the email that encourages people to share their favorite part of this email to Instagram. So I have a little graphic, and if they click it, it opens them straight to Instagram. But I know that most people don't click it and they just open their Instagram story and they like will pull up their story camera on their computer is what I was trying to say, or they'll screenshot their phone and then post that to their Instagram story. But I do have a, I think right now, it changes sometimes, but I think right now it says friends tell friends, something. And then it says, share your favorite part of this email on Instagram and tag me. And they do, and it's so fun. At least once a week, I get at least once a week. And it's so, so fun. And again, everyone's reposting it. People are telling their followers, you have to subscribe to the Gumption Edition. And it's an absolute blast. This is a key, this third point is a key thing to have in your email as well. You want to have a subscribe opt-in area within your email. And I know you're thinking like, well, Elizabeth, they're already receiving this email. You know, they're already subscribed, but a lot of the time people can forward, maybe a subscriber forwards your email to someone who's not subscribed, said, hey, this topic is really, I know this topic's really interesting to you. I wanted you to read. Well, you want that person who is interested in this email topics to subscribe to your email list so that she's going to get next week's email and next week's email and so on. So you want an opt-in area within the email. I know it sounds redundant, but you're covering your bases. Or just in case someone shares, you know, emails can be sent as like URL links. If someone just copy and paste and like posts the URL to their Facebook feed or whatever, I don't really know. I'm not really on Facebook anymore. But that way they can click the URL to the email, read the email, fall in love with it, think, wow, this blogger is so cool. I'm so in love with their brand. And then they can subscribe right there within the email. Actually, so what I have is I have a graphic and you click it and it takes you to an opt-in form, because I think most email subscribers right now don't support like opt-in forms within your email. I tried so hard to create one, days, you guys, and don't waste your time, because I don't think, like, I know MailChimp definitely doesn't, Flowdesk definitely doesn't. You can't create a form in the body of an email. So I have a cute little graphic, you click it and it takes you to an opt-in form. And then lastly, I have a little bio about me, because if people forward an email to someone that doesn't know me yet, I want them to know what it's all about. It also just is another area for you to solidify your brand and the brand of your email, and maybe make a connection, a personal connection for them to say, well, yeah, I like this topic. That sounds good. I don't know if I want to like keep subscribing though. But then they read about you and your experience and your heart and how you want to connect with them. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm about this girl or this guy. I've only seen women on here so far. So if there's men, I'm so sorry. I've been referring to females. But then they connect with you and not just the content. So I have a little bio about me at the bottom of all my emails. It's actually kind of long. It's kind of 3 paragraphs, but the text is kind of small, so it looks better. And I call it my, I think I call it my letter from the editor, because again, I'm going with this whole magazine publication type brand. And yeah, I call it the letter from the editor, and that is my little bio. And I think those 4 things, in addition to just obviously valuable content that your readers and subscribers can glean from and grow from. Again, you kind of want to feel like you're giving your knowledge away for free here in a way that is consistent with any products you might have, or other content that you put out on a blog or your social media. But then these are the 4 things that are crucial to creating sustainable growth and sustainable success with your email list. So that is all I have tonight. I think I'm gonna like breathe. We're like 40 minutes in. I was told to have about 40 minutes prepared, so I never stop on the dot like that. Never. Tonight is just, we are rolling all together, so we're on the same page. And I don't know if there are any questions. I was not watching at all, but whatever you would like to do next, we can go there.
Okay, lovely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of those tips. There was so many good tips in there that, you know, we're going to be sharing the replay on YouTube, so that in case you missed something and you want to rewatch, you can go back, because there are lots of nuggets in there. But, you know, definitely worth revisiting all of the info that you just shared. We do have a few questions, so let me go through them. We have Dominic, and he's asking, or she, sorry, what is a good benchmark open rate and click-through rate?
Oh, that's really good. I think I think it depends a little bit on the content of your email, and if you're selling something or if it's just to send information. But, and it varies like per industry, so it depends on what industry your product is in. But I know that my open rate averages to about 40%, which is extremely high. I think on average it's about 10 to 20. And then click-through rates, honestly, I don't have the average off the top of my head, but 20% is about the average open rate, which can be very, very frustrating, because you're like, all of these other people wanted this information. But I have found that the open rate almost doubles when you resend to unopens, which you can do with all mainstream email providers like MailChimp, Flowdesk. You can have the option to resend your email just a couple days after, only to the people who haven't opened it yet. So you're not annoying the people who have, and that usually doubles it.
That is great. Also, something to keep in mind is that your benchmark, you should use your own growth for your own benchmark, because it keeps moving as you grow. As more people join your newsletter, you're going to get more subscribers that are old subscribers that maybe have fallen off, and they haven't unsubscribed, but they just don't open your emails anymore. So as you grow, when you start, 50 to 40% open rate is fantastic. But as you continue to grow, that open rate will start to fall a little bit, unless you clean your email list. But that's great info. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, following with other questions, Joyce asks, do you use a paid template or a free template like Canva to create your newsletter?
I don't. I don't, but I think that's a good solution. If you want to, I use Flowdesk for my email management software, and Flowdesk is kind of like a Canva for emails. Like, it's very visual. The aesthetics are beautiful. They have amazing templates that you can just drag and drop more information in, less information in. You can upload your own photos into their beautifully created graphics. So if you don't have an email service yet, I like Flowdesk for that reason, but you could definitely use Canva. Canva is an amazing resource. But because I do have a big marketing background, I have Photoshop, so I will Photoshop any graphics and then use Flowdesk for the rest of the structure of the template.
That's great. We also use Flowdesk, and we actually recently had a webinar on how to get started with Flowdesk with your newsletter. And you get a free trial period for, I believe it's a month. So I'm going to share the link in the chat if you guys want to check out Flowdesk. It's kind of the latest email marketing tool out. Yeah. And it's really awesome. Okay, next question. Brianna asked, what platforms do you use? So Flowdesk. Venetia asked, can you manually confirm a subscriber in Flowdesk?
To be honest with you, I don't know if you can, maybe you can answer this. I don't know if you can manually confirm one. I just kind of see them come in. I don't know.
Yes, so you can import subscribers to Flowdesk.
Oh, yeah.
You can, so for example, if you already had a newsletter in MailChimp and you are moving to Flowdesk, you can export them. And that's where that CSV file that Elizabeth mentioned at the beginning, it comes into play. It has all the information for your subscribers and in one file, and you just put that into Flowdesk and it'll import all of your subscribers and all their info. But if you just have one subscriber, you can also go and just add that one person at a time. So yes, you do have that feature in Flowdesk. So Lindsay asks, do you find better terminology to use instead of email or mailing list? We talked about that a little bit. I don't know if you want to revisit that topic.
Oh, how did I find it? Honestly, that terminology that I came up with came out of me. I know this sounds crazy and you guys, like, some of y'all are going to sleep on this tip, but it comes out of creating the Pinterest board. I created the Pinterest board for what I wanted, and I looked at what was in there. It was a lot of women holding magazines while reading on a balcony in like Paris. And it was a lot of Vogue like clips and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, like, I really just want it to feel like that. I want it to feel like a magazine. And then I thought of other words that coincide with that idea with magazines, like Issue and stuff like that. And I wanted it to feel kind of newspaperish as well, all at the same time, which is why I called it the Gumption Edition, because the Something Edition is a very common newspaper like title. So that is how I came up with my terminology. So I would create a Pinterest board and see what is on there, because you can have words. I mean, for some reason, the next one that comes to mind is like society. Maybe this is a society newsletter or something like that. Whatever you're pinning for your inspiration, whatever is cohesive, whatever repetitive coming back up, that's how one way you can find some new terminology. You have to get creative with it.
That's great. Okay. Brianna is asking about cleaning email lists. Do you have any advice when it comes to keeping an email list clean?
I am not sure exactly. I mean, does that mean keeping like bots off your email list or fake accounts?
Well, when it comes to cleaning your email list, people usually are talking about people who are not very active in your email list. And I believe that was something that a lot of marketers or bloggers, anyone who has a newsletter, would have to be super important to stay on top of, because the email providers would charge you depending on how many subscribers you have. But now we go back to Flowdesk. Flowdesk does not charge you per email subscriber, at least not now during the beta phase. So you can have 1 million or you can have 100, and it's only going to be $19 a month. And that's why I always urge people, jump in on Flowdesk in case that changes. You lock in that rate for the rest of your life. So
I will say I check every single week to see if someone has bounced or unsubscribed or is just inactive. I mean, not inactive, like they didn't open it for a little while, but I do go in and I remove people from the list because as stated earlier, the more like accounts that you have just hanging on there, it will impact your rates. And I want my data to reflect what's actually happening and not have any like dead emails on there.
Okay, perfect. And so in Flowdesk, you can go in and delete whoever that bounced, and exactly what Elizabeth mentioned, you can do that manually. And pretty much every email service has that feature, you know, and they let you find who hasn't been very active, and you can decide if you want to remove them from your list, or I don't know if you've been received an email that says, goodbye, I'm sad to see you go. It's like a last attempt to try to reach those people who are inactive to see if they would like to reactivate and, you know, start to pay more attention to the newsletter. And if they don't respond to that email, then you delete them. So there's that. Okay. So Jorge is asking, he runs a horticultural society, and he's asking for a suggestion for linking or attaching a PDF newsletter, more of a magazine, inside the email blast. Do you have any info that you can share regarding that?
I honestly have never tried to do that before. I'm afraid I don't have that much information. I have never tried to attach like a document like that to a mass email list before. I don't know, do you have any experience with that?
Sure. So there are a couple of options. So what you can do is you can host the PDF in a place where you can, like a Dropbox or you know, a Google Drive or something like that, and you can link an image that links to that document in your newsletter. Or what you can do is you can host that PDF on your website, and you can link them back to that PDF on your website. So that's kind of the best way to do that. Or if you want to actually convert all the content that's in your newsletter into the email so they can just read it straight in the email, that's another option to deal with that. Okay. Tracy is asking, would you suggest creating a freebie in order to get people to sign up to your email list?
Yes, that's a great idea. That is an amazing marketing funnel to bring people into your community and be able to have their information so that you can give them that value up front, but then have their information to continue giving them like-minded, similar value. I think that's a fantastic idea. I definitely do recommend that. I haven't gotten to that point yet where I felt like I needed to do that. I've decided to conserve my energy a bit and wait until I saw that subscriber number kind of plateau. I wanted to see what organic growth and interest was there first, but that's just the route I decided to take. I'm all about putting in a ton of passion and a ton of heart, but managing my energy and my workload until it is something that is needed for the kind of results that I wanted to see. And the freebie hasn't been needed yet, which everyone's experience is different. I just want to be transparent about mine. So I think that is an absolute great idea. But the alternative to maybe waiting to do that is seeing what kind of organic interest comes from your online following right now. But yes, that is an amazing strategy.
Okay, wonderful. Carly is asking, could you please share your inspiration and how you came up with the name for your newsletter?
Of course. I mean, honestly, I can like share my Pinterest board for the Gumption Edition. I have it right here. I can pull it up. But like I said, I kind of I wanted the Gumption Edition to be a real genuine extension of kind of who I am. It's a part of my personal brand, and I just wanted it to feel like me and be like me. This is a secret Pinterest board that literally no one else has ever seen except for you guys until now. And so I just decided to pin things that I liked that spoke to me, that connected with me, even if I didn't really know why. And then a lot of these similar items kept popping up. It was a lot of Paris. It was very feminine. It was a lot of magazines, like this Vogue article right here. And I realized like, oh, that is like what I love. That is what I love. And yeah, I wanted it to just have that same timeless vibe that I want, not only in my email list, but it's kind of an extension of my Instagram, which I can show just like my feed really quickly. It's just a lot of kind of the same thing. I just want it to feel kind of vintage and old and European. And so that is what I pinned on my Pinterest board. And then I, as an extension of my Pinterest board, thought of just like old timeless magazines and articles and newspapers, and started Googling newspaper, like classic newspaper names. And a lot of them were like something edition. And so Gumption and Moxie have always been a part of my brand words. They're at the top of my blog. And so the Gumption edition was born. It was really just a self-exploration, really. And that's what I would suggest to anyone who has a personal brand, to have it just be an extension of you and your interests, even if they're outside of your product or your service, because then it would be really genuine to who you are.
That was such an insightful story. Thank you for sharing. So we have a few more questions. They are coming in hot. So May is asking, as a very small blogger that just started a newsletter, mainly to promote my blog, any tips on growing a small newsletter and blogger viewer audience with few social media followers? How do you break out of promoting just to friends and family and reach a larger audience?
Great question. I think using Pinterest is a really good option. I've seen really great engagement when I use Pinterest, and it can be creating things like graphics that are just general to your newsletter, or I really suggest creating a little video, even if it's like 15 seconds, because video is just so hot right now on social media. And posting those to Pinterest, and a lot of people, you have to optimize them to be able to be like search found, like for search and stuff like that, but people can find them then that way. I would make sure that your blog is SEO optimized as well, so that people can find you with liked interests that way. And then hopefully there's an opt-in form on your blog. If there isn't yet, I would suggest that there should be, so that if people find your blog, they can opt into your email list from there. And having like a pop-up is also an option when someone lands on your blog, to have a pop-up that invites them to join your mailing list. And then, as mentioned earlier, having that freebie, saying, I have a guide to create a curated Instagram feed. Drop your email in this link to receive receive my guide for free. That is a way that you can offer more people who aren't your friends and family. They might not really care about you yet, but they want the information that you have, and they'll opt in, receive that download, and become raving fans of you as they begin to receive more and more of your emails. I feel like it's kind of controversial to bring up TikTok, but honestly, I just feel like as a blogger's honor, I just have to mention TikTok's algorithm is unreal. I know Instagram released Reels because they thought it would take people away from TikTok, but people on TikTok don't really care about videos. They care about the algorithm that gets their content seen. That's the thing that Instagram kind of needs to see if they're going to follow suit on, because it's absolutely incredible. The exposure is amazing. I have worked for pretty much a decade to have 8,600 Instagram followers, and now I already have 12,000 followers on TikTok from doing basically nothing. I feel like I barely try. I don't dance. I don't know what I do on TikTok, but it's brought in 12,000 people, and it has brought in money for me, because then they join my email list and then they buy the things that I offer. So there are a lot of ways. I feel like just growing organically on Instagram right now is not impossible, but it's just hard. It doesn't come easy, I feel like, to anyone in this season right now. It takes a lot of effort, but I think some of those tips might help you reach out, be in addition to Instagram. social media growth, organic growth.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So Lee Wan is asking, how much is Flowdesk per month? So Flowdesk is $19 a month, but if you use that link that I shared, that invitation, you get 1 month for free to test it out. So I'm sharing it again if you'd like to check it out. Oh, and Melissa answered your question a little bit below. Okay. Okay, so Venetia is talking about that she had a double opt-in to prevent spam, but people were not confirming their subscription to join her email list. Do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, to be honest, I've never had a double opt-in before. That is harder to say than it sounds. I've never had that before because I was worried that that would happen to my list, because I have never personally, I have never needed to double opt in to an email list before. And so I just thought, well, if I'm not used to doing it, and I'm obviously very marketing savvy, I love social media, I love emails, I love blogging, and if I am not really keen to do it, I doubt other people who are just kind of half in it are going to want to do it as well. So I decided not to go that route. And Flowdesk, this is not a commercial for
I know.
Promise, it's not at all. This just kind of happens. But Flowdesk is really great at showing you who unsubscribed, what emails bounced, so those emails probably don't work anymore. And then any that are probably spam, it'll let you know, and then you can just go in and delete it. I don't know, Paola, if you've had any experience in this, if you've had a double opt-in before, but I honestly avoided it for that reason.
Actually, I have a very similar experience to you. I haven't used double opt-in unless it's like you're collecting emails at an event, somewhere where you think you might get like weird emails that you want to double check. But if you have the box in your website and people are subscribing through there, it's just adding another hurdle to get them on your list. Just makes it much harder to grow your newsletter. So I suggest not using the double opt-in, especially if you're using Flowdesk and they don't charge you by the amount of contacts that you have, so that you can afterwards go in and clean out anybody who's like suspiciously a spam bot or bounced or whatever, as Elizabeth suggested. You're welcome, George. I'm glad you like the idea of converting your PDF newsletter into images. Let's see. Lewan wants to know, what is your TikTok handle?
Wow, thank you. I'm honestly, this is like really embarrassing. My TikTok handle is probably Elizabeth Heischkins, just like my Instagram handle, which like I know my name is absolutely terrible to spell, so I'm throwing it in the chat right there. There's my name. That's my handle for everything. I'm not going to look, but I'm pretty sure that is my handle for TikTok. And if not, I'm the only Elizabeth Heischkins in America. So if you search that, you'll find me on
TikTok. Perfect. Okay, Melissa is asking, and these will be one of the few last questions because it's already 8 o'clock, is asking if it's possible or advisable to have more than one lead magnet based on your content pillars to appeal to different audience segments using Flowdesk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. Flowdesk manages audience segments. Really, it's great, and it's easy, and it's really easy to see and manage yourself in there. Oh my gosh, this is not a Flowdesk commercial, I promise, but it's really amazing. And so I think that sounds like an amazing plan. It sounds like you've really got your stuff together for this email list.
Yes, definitely. I agree with Elizabeth. I think for the best way to grow your newsletter is to use segments and send not everyone on your email list the exact same content, because as your newsletter grows, you're going to start people who are interested in different things that you do. So you will want to share that specific pillar or content with them so that they might not be discouraged from being your subscriber if they get information that is not relevant to them. So for example, Elizabeth has her newsletter and she starts making hosting local events. So then she will want to add the segment for her local people, and then she will only want to share those events with her local people, and her national or international audience might not be interested in hearing about her local events because they can't go. So Flowdesk does let you create lead magnets, a bazillion lead magnets. So you can create one per pillar, or even if your pillar is fashion and you have 10 different guides of how to wear a black skirt, how to tie your shirt at the front, all kinds of these lead magnets. You can have as many as you want in Flowdesk. Again, the Flowdesk commercial continues. So do we know if Flowdesk vibes with WordPress widgets, asks Brianna.
I don't think it does, but could be wrong.
That's correct. They don't have their own WordPress widgets yet. But all you have to do is kind of copy some code into an HTML widget and it works the same way.
It's really easy.
So, I mean, I have WordPress. Do you have WordPress as well, Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah.
Yeah, and we both are connected to Flowdesk. So it works. Okay. Okay, I believe this shall be our last question from Casey. And the question is, did you create an Instagram account for your newsletter? And if not, why not?
I did not. And this is why, is I am a huge advocate for the personal brand. So I am not, again, everyone has different circumstances, everyone has different businesses, everyone has different platforms. This is my belief and my experiences. I am a big believer in keeping most things on one Instagram account, because I believe that people follow people and people are interested in people. And I don't think anyone's gonna have want to follow Instagram for my email list. But I feel the same way for like kind of products as well. So my company does have a different Instagram account, but that is because it puts out so much content every single day, so much more content than I put out. But if the content that you have for, let's just say, an email list or a podcast or a business or your personal blogging Instagram account, if all of that output is about the same, I would just keep it all on one account, because people care. Honestly, this sounds like so narcissistic, but people care about me. I don't know why, but they do. We've all had that experience as bloggers where we're like, well, we'll see if people care about this. I'm just going to put it out there. But then they do. And it's people care about people. And and people subscribe to my email list because they care about me. Again, I don't know why, but I'm loving it. I'm going to roll with it. I'm just going to go with it. And so I keep it all together at the same place, same account.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I believe that was our last question. So thank you so much for joining us, Elizabeth, and sharing all of this amazing insight about how you started and grew your newsletter. I think we have great tips here. So we will be resharing this webinar on YouTube.
Yay.
And coming up next week, we have our second webinar on Canva. Our Canva training continues. This time we'll be using more of the Canva Pro features. So we'll be talking about how to remove the background for your images and how to do more animations and GIFs. So make sure to go to the bloggerunion.eventbrite.com to RSVP for that webinar. And then the following week, in September 30th, we are going to have a pitching webinar. So make sure to sign up for those two webinars, and that'll be the rest of our September webinars. And thanks everyone so much for joining us today. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Elizabeth. Bye, everybody.